Hello guys.
Hey.
Welcome to our YouTube channel once again. I know it's been ages. I know I know you guys have been sending us emails, trying to contact us, trying to even check up on us and find out that we're doing good, we're doing fine. We appreciate all your messages. We appreciate everything you guys have been doing, even still sticking to the channel, even when we're upset.
I know.
We really feel guilty about that, and we're back now.
Yeah, a lot's gone on so far, since we last, spoke, I guess. So Ollie, he got a new job.
Yay. I know.
So he actually, it's funny, he actually works at the same institution that I work at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great, like we are able to go to work together. And he finally has weekends off.
Yeah.
So that was the hardest part, was that he was working every weekend.
Yeah.
All we'll say is that he worked in retail, so you know how retail can get.
Really crazy.
Crazy, and weekends galore. So now we can focus a little bit more on the channel and on you guys. Yeah. We were ready to get started a couple, at least like last month, but this whole COVID crisis
just took over
and it made it a little difficult. But this is actually a good time to give you guys some information about what is actually happening worldwide and how it will affect the K-1 visa process. So the first thing we want to talk about is USCIS, because that's obviously the main home office that we are all going through. Those of you guys who have in-person appointments or InfoPass appointments at your local office, unfortunately the offices have closed. They plan to reopen May 4th, depending on depending on the situation. So if there's still public closures, if that's extended in May, then they'll remain closed. So those of you guys who did have appointments, they will automatically be canceled and you will have to reschedule.
USCIS offices will still remain open for now, but it's just that they're going to be short-staffed. They're not going to be more effective and efficient as before, so it's going to slow down the number of cases they touch daily. If you guys are actually on the verge of submitting, or you were on the verge of submitting your papers in before this whole thing started, and now you guys are wondering what to do, we would advise, just go ahead and still put in your application. They will still send an acknowledgement message saying that they've gotten your application. Okay,
so now onto the K-1 visa. As Ollie said, those of you guys who were on the verge of submitting and debating if you should submit or not, probably it would be best to submit, just because the processing time is going to extend anyway. It's going to increase. Also, the cases will continue to be processed. So you guys who are waiting for the NOA2 will continue to wait. It might take a little bit longer. The USCIS processing time on their website might or might not be correct. We're not 100% sure. They'll probably adjust that later. But just continue to wait and hang tight. On the case of the MVC, those who have already been approved and they've gotten their NOA2s and they're on the verge of waiting or hearing back from MVC, their offices, as we all know, most government offices are actually shut down now, but most of their operations are done online. So you can as well still try to contact them by email or go on their website, because I believe they will still try to update their website. Your case might still stay at MVC until the embassies are open again, because the MVC is usually communicating with the embassies, and they send your case to the embassy. And if the embassy is obviously not open, then your case will just wait. Those of you guys who have interviews will most likely be canceled and will be automatically rescheduled, or you might have to reschedule it for another date, but they will prioritize you once everything has been cleared out. As for Nigeria, they are currently on the 14-day lockdown at the moment, and all interviews and appointments at the moment have been shut down. So people who have medicals and have to get their police reports, like in Nigeria, as we said, everything is kind of at a standstill, so you'll have to wait. When it comes to your country, depending on if you are filing from a different country, look into your country and see what has changed and how the COVID-19 has affected your process or affected your country. So we're gonna leave a website in the description box. They actually are keeping people up to date, depending, like it's on travel.state.gov. Many of you guys have probably used that website, and they have a list of the countries, all the countries in the world, and how the COVID-19 has affected the immigration process. Those of you guys who have been approved from the interview but you're waiting for your visas have to wait a little bit longer since everything's closed. Also, like I said, it's depending on your countries. Look into your country's requirements to find out what's actually happening in terms of the embassy, the consulate office, and if they're open or not.
If you've already gotten your visa, you've been issued a visa already, and right before you're about to leave the country, all this has happened. First of all, I'll say the country you're going to, I mean, if you're coming
the US,
here, to which is US obviously, I would say everything depends on where you're living.
Yeah.
Because if for example, where you are right now, if your country current law states that, you guys can't leave the border, then you guys have to wait. If some countries would permit you to leave, and on getting here, you might still have to go through health screening. If the need may arise, you might be quarantined for a few days just because of what is happening. While some countries also might be coming into the US, and they might not even gain access to it. So every country's departure, their policies are different. So everyone is trying to just protect their borders at this point.
And some people have received their visa already and decided to hold off until, maybe for their own personal reasons. And then, the K-1 visa is valid for 6 months before you leave the country. And maybe it's already expiring and now you can't leave your country. In that case, consulates can revalidate an expired visa. They can't extend it though, but they can revalidate it pending a new medical evaluation and a new interview. So that's basically, they can do this if your travel, like if you were not able to travel, like if it was beyond your control. And obviously the COVID-19 crisis is beyond anybody's control. So a lot of things are shifting at the moment, and the laws and the regulations that they've made might be flexible with some things right now at this time, because everybody's going through this together. So some people actually were able to still go for their interview, not in Nigeria, but in some other countries. They emailed their embassy, and their embassy were still conducting interviews, but in reduced capacity, under reduced capacity. So they were maybe only seeing 10 people a day. So contact your embassy also, find out if if they're doing that, and maybe they can make some special consideration for you as well. And those who also unfortunately lost their jobs, or if they've been laid off and they were trying to complete the affidavit of support, and they don't have the income to prove anymore, don't use those previous tax years for your affidavit of support. They actually want to see the current income. So sadly, if you did lose your job, you obviously don't have a current income, but you might be able to prove your income through your assets, or through you might need to get a co-sponsor. The other thing too is you might just have to sit tight right now, because embassies are closed at the moment. Most of them are, and aren't even they're not even having interviews at this time. So things might change in the near future in terms of jobs, and you might have to just wait at this time. Moving on to the adjustment of status, green card, EAD, advanced parole. So once you get in the US, you have 90 days to marry. Everybody knows that. However, a lot of places right now are facing closures for the county clerk's office and for county recorders or courthouse. So a lot of people aren't actually able to get married during this time. Some people have already been here maybe for 60 days and they only have 30 days left, or maybe they only have a few days. So one thing that you should look into, just go onto your website, your county's clerk's website, and there should be a phone number that they've provided, and try to call and find out if they can make a special arrangement for you. You can also get married in a different county as well, so see if there is another county clerk's office or courthouse that's open at this time, but most likely a lot of places are closed. One thing I did read online is that Colorado is actually letting people obtain marriage licenses remotely. So they said that you can sign your marriage license at home and then fax, mail, or even submit the marriage license online. So that's another option, and you can actually look into that and call when you do contact the county clerk's office. Try and inquire about it and see if it is an option for them to let you submit the marriage license remotely, so you can still get that done within the 90 days. USCIS will probably make adjustments during this time and be a little bit more flexible, because everybody's going through this at the same time. Even with the work permit, since USCIS is still open, they'll most likely still be issuing the work permits. Work permits do expire after a year, so most people have to apply for an extension. They have been a little bit flexible with the extensions. Going in for a biometrics appointment, another biometrics appointment, as you usually would when you apply for an extension. They're actually gonna use the previous biometrics from the last year, so you won't have to go in again.
Yeah, the RFEs too. I mean, once you guys are in position of getting RFEs and all that, you can still submit whatever document they're asking for, and just bear in mind that it's just gonna take a bit longer, but you'll still get your responses.
RFEs do have a due date, so if you weren't able to submit it by the due date, USCIS has been flexible and extended it. They'll give you 60 days after your due date to still submit it. There's a lot of information on their website, so you guys can take a look at that. That's been pretty helpful. That's basically it. That's all we have so far. If you guys have more information, if you guys have helpful information, feel free to comment below. And if you have more questions, comment below as well. We will go through all the comments and respond to them to the best of our ability. So we want to help you guys out. We can completely understand the frustration during this process, especially with COVID-19. It's affected all of us. It's affected all of us indirectly. So we're all in this together, and we're happy to help you guys out during this time. And the most important thing to do is just be patient during this time and just wait. And everything will work out in the end. Yeah.
And please stay safe, guys.
Stay safe, please. Stay at home.
Let's abide with all the health guidelines, so that we don't blame ourselves, at the end.
So we wish you guys the best, and we will see you guys soon.
Soon, we're back to stay, guys. Just remember that.
Yep. See you later.
All right, guys. Bye.